So here we go for a challenge match. This is between Cobra and ReelPolandpower, or otherwise known as Stub. And it's a race to 11. It's 10 ball. And the winner is going to get $1,000 RE. And so we're lagging off. And Stub wins the lag and he breaks off. And no joy in the break. So Stub came up with a dry break, and who Cobra's in control. And remember, 10 ball is a non-slop game. You've got to call all the non-obvious shots as usual. That's combos and banks, and the 10 ball is an automatic called shot. And these are two top class players, so we should expect a good match. Well, having said that, that was a bad one by Cobra. He was trying desperately there to hold for the 4 and trying to sort of cheat the pocket a bit, and it didn't work. And I think Stubbs checking. Well, he's deciding to go for the bank. I thought he was going to play the combo, but he can certainly get the cue ball out for the 4 into the middle. He's just double checking to see it goes past the 9. Let's have a quick look. Oh yeah, it goes past the 9, no problem. And then goes the bank. Now I wonder if he can just stun this enough to drop behind the 5. Or is he going to try and come out for the 5? It looks as if he's going to try and come out. No, he's digging down in the queue now. So he's played the little stun. He's got perfect in the 5. And nice angle in the 6, so he can just drop up to the left middle pocket here. And that's a wee bit awkward because he's just fell behind on the... I don't know, it looks as if he did have the angle. I didn't think he'd quite the angle there, but he's fine. This top down view doesn't give you the best angle, but it gives you the best view for recording it. So just a 9 and a 10 ball to go for Stub to get his name on the board. So Stub wins the first rack. Again, this rack money is causing problems because again there's no ball in the break. And probably just to push out yet for Cobra. Let's see what he thinks about the push out. Well, that's left nothing, so what does Stub do? Put him back in, or try and play a thin one and tuck the cue ball back down the table, or back up the table as we look? There is an angle to do it. He's just decided to push it up and try and drop behind the 2. Now that looks as if he's fell short. And how does that 1 go? Well, I think that 1 will squeeze past the 9. You'll have to cheat the pocket a bit, but if he plays it nice way, it'll go in, but he has to also control the cue ball because he needs a shot on the 2. Well, he's decided to play the safe. And no doubt Stubb's going to try and squeeze past this 9 to kick it in, but that's really tight. Going to try the kick off the rail, which looks the better chance if he gets it thin enough. And that didn't work out for him. And it was hard to judge that shot. So now, in an instance like this, with players of this calibre, this is where you're expecting somebody like Cobra to run these balls, and there's not really a problem ball on the table from what I can see. The only slight awkward one would be the 4, because it's only going to go into, as it's sitting at the moment, it's only going into the one pocket really, and that's past the 8 ball. It's a bit more awkward to get into that right hand corner pocket, but we're going to find that out straight away, because he's got entirely the wrong angle in this 3. But he does have the angle to check this cue ball and come back up the right hand side to take the 4 past the 8. But will he do that? Well, that's what he's tried. Well, he's tried to, I think he's got a bit too much on it. So he's now in no man's land. Well, he could go for the cut in the 4, and the cue ball's going to smack into that 8 ball. But that doesn't help him much for getting on the 5, so is he looking for a safe? Well, in most cases I would be happy with that, but knowing Stubb, he's going to go for the bank. Well, it's a good bank, but he's got no real shot in the 5. Well, here we go. He's called a combo on the 10 ball. And he's missed a combo, but he's got distance. Now this is all about pace, because I feel sure Cobra's going to go for the 5, and the cue ball's going to finish somewhere up by that right hand middle pocket, depending on the pace he plays it at. Well, he's actually overcut it and moved to 6, and that's done Stubb a favour here. Well, again, that's a poor positional shot by Stubb. He's made it a lot tougher than it could have been with that shot there. But in goes the 6, and he's now out for the 7. Cannot keep pulling out shots like that to keep runs going. But as it is, he's sitting looking here at a 2-0 lead. Now, what does he do? Does he check the cue ball to come back, or does he come off the end rail and side rail? End rail, side rail, back across. And he's left a nice angle on the 9. Can just roll it in and leave himself in the 10 in the middle. Nothing heroic. Well, in it goes. Stubb. Now 2 racks to the good. This time it's still a dry break. But I think Cobra's got nothing on. I don't think he can see enough of that to pot it, can he? No, I think he can just maybe a little bit English, right English, to maybe just punch that one up the table and leave the cue ball there. Well, I think he got lucky there, because that's not where he wanted the one ball. Believe me, he wanted that one ball right up at this bottom end of the table where we are. And Stubb kicks at it, and that's actually worked out not too bad. There's not enough there to see to pot this one ball. At least I don't think there is. No, he might be right here, and actually, if he calls the cross bank, if that's what he's maybe risking playing, because if you're going to try and take the cue ball back up the table, this one could bank. Well, that's gone all wrong. Cue ball colliding with the 4 has taken the pace off it and taken the distance off it, and that's let Stubb in again. I'm looking to see where the problems are in this rack. I suppose the only slight problem, if there's any, is just getting from the 4 to the 5. I mean, there's plenty of open space there, but there's also a ball there that can cause a problem. And that's spinning too much, I think, is it? Oh, he's okay. But now this is the issue. He's left himself dead straight on the 4. He's tried to force an angle, and I think that's worked out perfect. That's fine. And again, he's got a nice angle on the 5, but he needs to keep this nailed to the rail here. Doesn't need to worry about position. The cue ball's coming across for this 6 into the same pocket, unless he hits it hard enough to bring the cue ball back across. Well, that's the problem with those shots. You've got to hit them clean and pure for it to tuck along that rail. But again, he's left Cobra nothing much, I don't think. Can he see enough of that to cut it in? I don't think he can. He's just going to try and kick this 5 again and maybe kill the cue ball. Hard to say what he's looking at. Well, he could have played that better as well. Oh, that could have been really nasty there if he'd managed to tuck behind the 9. Again, it's a similar shot for Cobra as the last time with that other cross shot. He can cross this 5, but he wants to cross it behind the 6 and the 10. Not too hard, and bring this cue ball up the table. Somewhere down to the right corner. And that is the shot. That's a good one. Now, has Stubb seen the kick bank here for this 10 ball? Is he going to call it? Because it looks it might have a chance, but I think he can see an edge. He must have better eyes than I have. Oh, he just clipped it, but again, colliding with that 6. That's ruined the safety. Now, not that the alarm bells are ringing, but Cobra really needs to make an impression early on in this match. He needs to punish that mistake. And there should be an easy run out here. Just a case of joining the dots. Roll the 7 in, cue ball off the rail a wee bit, and that's perfect. The only slight issue is that if he's letting the cue ball run, he doesn't want to collide with the 10. He wants to try and sneak round behind that. Well, he's checked the cue ball to prevent it running to the right, and I think he's got a nice little angle there as well, just to push through and send the cue ball off the end rail up the left hand side as we look. Needs to watch that middle pocket though. Oh no, plenty of room there. Well, Cobra's managed to do what was required there. Punished a mistake by Stubb. Stubb as ever gracious. And this time Cobra gets a ball on the break, but once again, no real shot in the one, but you can certainly just cut this one back towards that top rail and get the cue ball right up here. And he's underhit that. That's a poor shot. And there's no problem with Stubb getting the 1 ball and getting the cue ball onto that 2 into the left middle. He's somehow going to try and drop the cue ball down here for this 3, and that's too much angle to do that. He could try and knock this in quite firm and stun across, draw across the right rail and come back across with a 3 into the right corner pocket. It'd be a good shot if he managed to do it. Well, that's excellent. Now, can he just drop onto that bottom rail and kick the 10 out and leave the combo in the 4 on the 8 ball? Well, he's got the kick in the 10, that gets it out of the way. And the problem with this shot is that he has to just knock that 4 slightly to his right to make the potting angle in the 8 ball. And this 4's going to be running a bit, more than likely up the left hand rail. So it's anybody's guess as to whether he'll have a shot in the 4. Well, he's misjudged it, and that's teed up a combo here for Cobra. So that's still goes down as an error by Stubb. And could this be the second rack in a row where justice has been meted out as a result of the mistake? Now, can he pot this 4 and avoid the 8 ball, or is he going to draw back up? Yeah, just managed to get enough angle to come across and out, which is quite good, but this is a problem. This has got to be using force to put the 6 in and get the cue ball either follow through and back up for the 8 or draw back for the 8. It looks like a draw shot, and it goes clean enough. And the cue ball again has to move, so not quite as cut and dried as it looks. He's See, there's an issue there. He's hit the 10. He's left a more difficult shot than he wanted, but he really just needs to focus on the 9, because the cue ball is going to the right rail. He'll have a shot in the 10, no problem. The 9's all that matters. And in it goes. And so Stubb quickly get into a 2-0 lead. And in each of the last 2 racks, Stubb's the one that's made the mistake, and Cobra has come up with the goods when asked, and that's what it's all about. So we're now back all square. 2 racks all, Cobra to break. Of course it's winner breaks, and this is rack number 5. And a corner ball flew in there into the bottom left. Didn't manage to see what one it was. It was a 3 ball. Now is he going to go for the pot and the 1? Cue ball's tucked in the bottom rail there, or the top rail as we look. So you can't really get an awful lot of control on the cue ball. You're just trying to roll it in and keep the cue ball from running too far, and that still gives him a shot in the 2. And no problem for the 4. Now, the issue now, of course, you can see that he's got no problem potting the 4, but he needs an angle. He doesn't want to be dead straight in this 4. He needs to do something where he's going to be able to get into those balls and nudge them, and that might be too straight. Well, no, he's got an angle. He's going to have to force this with a lot of top and inside English to ruffle those balls about, I think, unless he's going to try and play something really delicate. Well, I think he's played something really delicate, and that looks pretty damn good to me. I think he can get the potting angle in that 5, and he'll just roll through to the right rail and be on the 6. That's an excellent shot. Excellent positional shot there by Cobra. So he's showing that he's more than capable of causing problems here. Oh dear. Oh. So now, does he just roll through a couple inches? As long as he can squeeze past that 10, he can get to the 8. And can you hit this soft enough just to maybe come out and kiss onto the 10? This could go wrong if he plays this off shot. Doesn't want to hook himself in the 9. Yeah, that's worked out perfect. Played the kiss onto the 10. And looking at this, he can probably just cut that 9 in and take the 10 into the right hand middle. That'd be the simplest shot by the looks of it. And he's got the pace in that nice as well. And so this will be Cobra's 3rd rack in a row. And he goes into the lead by 3 racks to 2. Breaks off, and rack number 6, and a dry break, and Stubb just left with a kick shot. Now this is a tough one, but I've no doubt that Cobra's going to go for this cut. and he'll be really unlucky if he doesn't finish on the 2. There's plenty of room to get onto that 2 ball. 3 balls sitting in the open, 4 sitting over the left middle, 5's down here in the bottom into the left corner, 6 is there as well, 7. You know, they're all sitting there for the taking, and again at this level you would expect them to run out. This is going to be a problem though. You can easily collide with one of these balls as the cue ball crosses the table from right to left as we look. And he's managed to avoid any of them, and he's sitting nice in a 3. And how's the angle in a 4? Well, he's gone too far. So again, the cue ball, let's have a look. Yeah, the cue ball's definitely going to be running again, and this is the one that could be the issue. Oh, hit the wrong button there. Let's see how he gets on to this 5. He's managed to avoid problems so far in this rack. And the ideal place, of course, is a space somewhere between that 6 and 7. And that looks fine as long as just kisses that 7. Yep, that's perfect. Now, does a 6 pass the 7? Well, it doesn't, so that creates an issue for Cobra here. He can certainly pot the 5. He could check the cue ball and try and come across and hit the 10, or go between the 10 and the 6 to take the 6 into the same pocket. So this is a problem, and he's checked it. He's kissed the 10, but he hasn't hit it thin enough off the 10, so he's now left a high angle on the 6. And I think it's a tough one to hold for this 7. He might be able to kill the pace in the cue ball. Well, that's worked out nice. Played a nice little soft draw shot and just kissed the 8 towards the 7 towards the pocket. That was nice. And Stubb congratulating his opponent every shot. And in goes the 8, an easy 9, a soft roll through for the 10, or a little stopper for the 10. Either or, he's got his 4th rack in a row. And so Cobra's lead now goes to 2 racks, and he has the break again in rack number 7. But he's come up dry. Stubbs got a thin shot on the 1. Needs a bit of luck to get a shot in the 2, and it isn't there. And probably going to call the kick in the 2. Well, he didn't call it, but he would have miscalled it, I would feel. But he's left ball in hand to Cobra, and he's studying the table, looking at his plan of attack here. So just stop the cue ball. What's the angle in the 3 like? Well, it's perfect because he can just roll through to the side rail and to the 4 into the right hand corner. And he's kept it away from the rail, so he can now get better control on the cue ball. Now can he just draw back, or can he roll through and come back up and just leave a space between the 9 and the 7 to get to the 5? And that looks fine. Now, has he got enough angle? Let's see it from this view. Yeah, he should be able to probably drop onto the 10 ball and just leave himself on the 6. It could go wrong, but if he gets the 10 thick enough, he should be dropping onto that. Well, he tried to stun it in, and that's what happens. If you don't know already in VP4, you do now. As soon as you start stunning balls at pace, these pockets won't accept them if you hit them offline. And now Cobra's the one that's made the mistake, and Stubb is raring to go. He's over eager, and that's a poor shot again. Again, this is the thing that I feel lets Stubb down a lot of times. I mean, he's great at potting balls, but his positional play is what lets him down, and why he makes mistakes like that. And so far, Cobra's proved to be the more accomplished positional player in this match, even at this stage. So Stubb had to pull out a crazy cut shot in the 7. He failed on it. That was his chance, and that was just a rushed shot. Poor position in the 7, and now he's going to sit and suffer. Just a simple roll in the 9. Cue ball's going to finish right in the bottom rail here for this 10 ball. I think Stubb just got a wee bit overexcited there when he had that chance and didn't take his time, and it didn't work out. So a rack that should have been his has gone to Cobra, and Cobra's now 5-2 in the lead. Again, the corner ball goes in. I think the one ball dropped into the right middle, and the 1, the 3 and the 4 ball have all disappeared. But unfortunately he's no shot in the 2. But where's he going to hide the cue ball? Is he going to push? Is he going to play it thin? He's going to try and... There is a chance to get up behind this 7 here. That's what he's looking at, I think. Or maybe even hit the side rail and come in behind the 10. But either or, he's got good distance. That's a good enough safety. I'd be happy with that one. Now in turn that's got pressure on Stubb, so he's again went for the only option that he thinks is available, and that's to try a silly cut in the 2. Now he's lucky that he's left it so awkward for Cobra, and Cobra might end up doing the same thing here though. I think he's still in 2 minds how to go about this. Yes, it does cut. Yes, it's really thin. Is the safety the better idea though? Well, that's good thinking. And this time Stubb can't cut the ball, so he's got to look at getting a safe, and probably try and bring this cue ball up with the 7 and the 10 again. And I think he's hit that too thick. Yeah. And again, he's woefully short with his pace on the cue ball. And this is a chance for Cobra. Slim as it is, because you know the 5's right in the left rail here. It's asking a lot to get nice position on this 5. Well, that's worked out very nice. The only hindrance is a 7 ball. And this is a problem again. He's got to hit this clean, but he's got no real control in the cue ball. He doesn't want to force this. Maybe just roll through and leave that 6 into the right corner. Well, he's got a shot at it. And if he gets this 6 in, this is looking good for Cobra. And in it goes. And again he's collided with the 10, and that's killed his chances in this rack here. Now he's got a problem. How can he kick this 8 and leave the cue ball there? Well, I think he'll be happy with that. Stub again, going to call the bank. Now again, there's an easy safety shot there for him, but he's got himself under pressure here and having to pull out these bank shots to try and win the rack, and he's way off on it. And this time, however, I don't think he's going to get a second chance. At the moment, Stubb thinks attack's the best form of defence, and that's one aspect of his game that most of the time it works for him. But it's not going to work for him when he's playing somebody of the calibre of Cobra. And those weaknesses in his positional play are going to get found out. So that kick on the 10 ball there towards the 8 has worked out one way or another for Cobra. He's just got to roll the 10 in, and he's going to have a 4 rack lead. And remember, it's a race to 11 for $1,000 $3. And this time, no corner ball goes in. It's a dry break. And Stubb calling the bank on the 1. And in it goes this time. Ball's all sitting in the open. Oh dear, and that's a bad miss by Stubb there. And once again, is he going to get punished for it? Not an awful lot that Cobra wants to be doing with this cue ball. Yep, just roll it in dead weight and leave the wee bit more challenging cut in the 4, but again the issue is avoiding the traffic to get a shot on this 5, and the angle that he's got looks like the cue ball's going to come over between the 6 and the 9 and leave it really awkward in the 5. Unless he puts a bit of spin on the cue ball, we'll see what happens. Well, again, if he misses that 7, oh, that's unlucky. That was a great effort to get on the 5. And is he going to dig out the jump stick? Or is he playing the kick? Well, I think the jump cue's coming out. Just getting himself lined up by the looks of it. And he's got the Black Mamba jump cue out. This is a crucial shot. Of course, when it's so close like that, it's highly likely that the cue ball's going to start bouncing and in this case go off the table. So that's gifted Stubb a chance to steal this rack. And again, that's a poor shot from the point of view that it's the cue ball's running away. He needs to keep better control. And he's got it this time. Should just be able to draw back an inch or so for the 10. So Stubb has managed to stem the flow. And something dropped. I don't know where it dropped, but I heard it dropping. So now Stubb's back to just a 3 rack deficit. And it looks like the 8 ball went in. And you would look at this table and think this is going to be plain sailing. Every ball sitting there for the taking. The one that could be an issue is if he leaves himself too straight on this 5, which he has done. And this is where the cue ball's got to move. And it's got to run past that 10, which it has. Well, in goes the 9. A straight 10 ball, and Stubbs come back. Has it begun? Is he settled down? Is he going to play a wee bit more sensibly? Well, that's gone all wrong, because he's potting balls off the break, but unfortunately that includes the cue ball, and straight away it's ball in hand to Cobra. The only pocket that 1 ball's going into is the top right as we look, and the 3 balls nailed to that left rail. Well, he's got a slight angle. He maybe just want to draw back a bit here and leave the nasty little cut into the right middle, or draw it right up the table if he can. Well, he's managed to get it back a bit further than I thought he could, so this is looking good. And get a good angle to run around here and get out for the 5. Got a choice to take it into the both left and right corner pockets here, depending on how he plays it. And that needs to slow down. That's running strong. Well, What does he do here? Does he try and pull one out the bag? It's a tough cut in the 5. Cue ball's going to be running towards that 7, which might hold it for the 6. And I think this is an all or nothing shot for this rack. Oh, well, it was close, but not close enough. And little shots like that will give Stubb a bit more confidence. But of course, the angle he's got in this 6 means he's only really got one option, and that's to play the combo in the 7 onto the 8. And this, again, is where things go wrong. The pace that he hits this and where the 7 ball's going to travel, the 7 ball is more than likely going to travel to the end rail. Unless you can get it to hold over the corner by playing it really sort of dead weight. Well, that's worked out fine. And so, the deficit now is going to just be the 1 rack in favour of Cobra. And in goes the 10. And it's Stubb to break in rack number 12. Just to remind you, Stubb, of course, lives in the USA. He swears that he's Polish. And Cobra is from the UK. Gets a ball in the break, finishes on the 1. And how's the shot in the 2? Let's have a look. Well, he's going to have to bend this if he's going to try and cut it in. Well, that's worked out fine because he's got it safe, which is really all he wanted. And again, Cobra will be more than happy with that one. Let's have a look from his end. Stubbs only got the kick. Now he really should be calling a pocket here, because anything can happen. As it is, he's left the awkward cut on the 2. Cue ball's going to be running towards that 8 ball, I would think. Maybe even clip the 3 here. You'd have to cut this firm, but there's no real control over the cue ball at all. Well, he's undercut it, and that's safe as far as I can see, unless Stubb again goes for one of these silly cuts into the left middle. It's the one way he'll get onto the 3. But maybe it'd be better to try and keep it safe. Well, that's what he's went for. And this time he's got the cover. Now, look at that 2 and 10. They don't look set. What's Cobra going to do to get out of this one?